Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Use IDEANCE process. Step 6, celebrate with balloons and fun and streamers and all that crazy stuff. Whatever works for you. 2, supersize and grow your business super fast, right? We all want to grow our business, and you can grow it super slow. You can grow it super fast. Go with whatever pace feels great and right for you. And guess what? Sometimes our businesses grow slowly. Some days they take off and we're like, what in the heck just happened? How do we go from here to here in such a short period of time? It almost feels miraculous. So today we're talking about step 6 of the process we came up with in January to deal with any challenge or goal or obstacle or problem or desire that we have for our business by using a process on each of the same process every month on each of the different areas of the life framework that I share. I share a 9-part life framework. I talk about this a lot, right? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution. And in 2021, I think it was 2021, when I added communication and confidence to my own personal life framework. I've been using the same 7-part life framework since like the early 1980s. Learned it from Tony Robbins via Jim Rohn, and it's a 7-part life framework, and it worked for me. It helped me to put a frame around the chaos and craziness that tends to be my life, tends to be all of our lives if we're being honest about it. Sometimes things can get away with us, but if we have a process or a frame of reference, it just makes it easier to do things. My dad taught my sisters and I when we were little girls the importance of setting goals and writing them down. And so it just helped me to decide what goals to go after and set down. And I started setting like lifelong legacy goals when I was pretty young, like probably still in high school. Now, have they changed a little bit over time? A little bit. The how I'm going to get there and what I'm going to do to get there and how I'll spend my time and energy has changed as I get older and more mature, hopefully. But the essence of who I am and what I want to do and how I want to show up and who I want to be has stayed the same. So today we're talking about step 6 of this process, this amazing process, and that is to celebrate. We need to celebrate our wins. We need to acknowledge when things are going well so that we create more things going well, just like we need to learn the lesson of the things that don't work so we don't make those same mistakes again. So what we want to do is identify when and where and what type of celebrations are we going to have. So many people just skip over this part. They don't acknowledge their wins. They don't celebrate at all. And that is part of why some people struggle more than others. Because if we're paying attention to what we want, we create more of that. If we're ignoring the successes that come our way, then that's just a negative. It's putting negative energy towards something that's awesome and positive. And when we do that, that stalls out our growth and our supersizing. So I challenge you today to think about the goal or the problem area that you're working on during this challenge. Between now and the end of the year for physical aspects of your business, I am doing my personal work areas. And that's because I know I can control that and I can decide and make decisions for that without having to go to committee and do all these other crazy things that, depending on the organization type that you're in, you have to do that. You know, a lot of businesses nowadays, if you're an employee or even an owner, have strict guidelines of what office areas and office spaces need to look like at any given time, especially communal areas. So I want to think about today, and I haven't done it yet. I mapped it out in my book, and I said ID milestones, and then come up with a brainstormed list of, I like to just have a whole brainstorm list of things that I can do as a celebration so that when I reach a milestone or I hit a point or I have a win or a great day, I don't have to sit down and think, okay, well, how am I going to acknowledge and celebrate this then? Number 1, I'm going to write it in my gratitude journal. Number 2, if it's super important to everybody in the organization, I'm sending out a memo or a post, if it's a social media related thing, on that. Because I want the outside world to acknowledge that we're winning and doing what we said we were going to do as well. Or maybe I send out an email to our email list. It depends. It depends on the goal. It depends on the way. I'm not sending out any messages about organizing my office area, right? That's all on me. And nobody else cares, right? No one else cares if I have a organized, great work environment for working in. Only I do. And I know that it will be good for my mental well-being, which is always good for my emotional well-being, which is always good for everything else that interacts with everything else if I just clean up my physical act, right? So today, for example, I want to lose 20 pounds in the Be a Better You annual challenge by the end of the year. So I decided I am going to have a milestone or a checkpoint for every pound that I lose. Now, of course, if it's like past diets, it's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. So sometimes I might get to celebrate the same pound more than once. I haven't thought that far ahead, but I'm going to brainstorm a list today for that of at least 20 different ways to celebrate that if I'm going to do each pound. So now I have to think about the whole organize my office thing. What would constitute checkpoints or milestones along the way of that journey between now and the end of the year that I can celebrate? I would say hiring an expert or a coach and picking one, that's a milestone. I'm going to celebrate that. Things like that. How am I going to celebrate it? I don't know. I'm going to brainstorm a list of things that feel celebratory to me, like haircuts, getting my nails done, things like that, bubble baths, whatever works for you. Those will be the type of things that go on my list. I challenge you today to create your own list, your own checkpoint and milestones, so that you hold yourself accountable and you keep moving toward this even after we're done talking about it this month, right? I think that that's the critical thing, is find ways to acknowledge yourself and your efforts and your progress, not necessarily reaching the end goal milestone. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, all you have to do is ask me questions. And all I can do is tell you what works for me and what I've done and what people I've worked with have done. And then it's up to you to pick and choose and decide and actually figure out what works best for you, because that's going to be the most powerful thing always going forward, is get to know yourself, what works for you, do more of that, right? All right. Have an amazing day. If I can help you, all you have to do is ask. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.